Okay, Zach, the stuff that you're going to be doing today in ISS, which you should not be in if you had behaved, but you did not behave, which means I'm going to have to come down upon you, is you're going to be doing potential energy calculations. So you have two um, formulas that you can use for this. You have PE is equal to weight times height, or you have PE is equal to M times G times H. Okay, so how do you know which one you use? Well, if I have newtons, do not laugh at my handwriting. If I have newtons, I have to use the weight formula, okay, because newtons is weight. If I have kilograms, then I use the mass formula, which is right there. Okay, all right, so let's get an example. Let's say you have a mass of 10 kilograms and you have that it is 10 meters off the ground. Okay, so you write your formula, which is we're going to have to use, since this is kilograms, we're going to have to use the mass formula. So we're going to do PE equals 10 kilograms times gravity, which is always 9.8 meters per second squared, times your height, which is 10 meters. Okay, go ahead and put that in your handy dandy calculator, and that gives you 100 times 9.8, which would give you 980, if I did that right in my head. And the units will always be joules for energy. Okay, so you have 980 joules. Okay, all right, so let's say, for example, 2, that you were given that the weight is equal to 15 newtons and the height is equal to 10 meters. Okay, you're going to do PE is equal to 15 newtons times 10 meters. You don't have to do 9.8 because we're doing weight times height, which I forgot to put on here. So 15 times 10 gives you 150. And my units again would be joules. Okay, so if you're looking at the sheet that you're going to be working on, you look at 1 through, I think it is 6, or 1 through 4, sorry, and you're going to calculate, on 1 you calculate potential energy of Marble 1 and Marble 2, and then you have to answer the question on Part B, and then number 2 you calculate the potential energy of Marble 1 and Marble 2, and you answer the question on Part B, and then you've got problems 3 and 4. On number 5, it says to calculate the weight. So if we know the mass of an object, so let's say that the mass of an object is 15 kilograms, then we can calculate the weight, because weight is, do not laugh at my handwriting, weight is equal to mass times gravity. Okay, so that gives you 15 kg times your gravity, which is 9.8 meters per second squared. Okay, which would give you 15 times 9.8. I'm going to have to put in my calculator, which gives you 147. And weight is measured in newtons, so your unit would be newtons. Okay, so what I want you to do is pause this video and go and calculate 1 through 6. Okay, on 7 and 8, it's just 2 questions. So you have the question about the large SUV, small compact car, and a child's Barbie Jeep. And they're at the top of the racing hill. Which one has the most potential energy and why? Which one has the least? So on and so forth. And then number 10, you have the 2 hang gliders. Again, number 8 or 7 and 8 are just questions. They're not calculations. So pause this, go do that, and then I'll have some information for you on the kinetic energy. Okay, so for kinetic energy, your formula is KE is equal to mv squared divided by 2. Okay, now when we square this, it's only the v that gets squared. Okay, so let's say that, and the v is going to stand for speed because they do stupid stuff like that in physics. Okay, so let's say that the speed is equal to 10 meters per second. Okay, and the mass is, the object is 15 kilograms. Okay, so what you're going to do is, what I get everybody to do is, if you'll put your parentheses in first, so you put 2 sets of parentheses, one with the squared outside of it so you don't forget, okay, over 2. Okay, so we're going to go back and put this in. So the mass is 15 kg, so we're going to put that here, 15 kg. Okay, and then your speed is right here, 10 meters per second. Okay, and then we got the whole thing divided by 2. What you need to do first is square this. So 10 squared is 10 times itself, which would be 100. Then you take 100 times 15, which gives you 1,500. And then that whole thing still needs to be divided by 2, which would give you, if you punch it in your calculator, 750 joules. Okay, because even though it's kinetic energy, it's still measured in joules. Okay. All right, so what you need to do is, right now, and if you need to come back and look at this again on how to do it, you can, but you're going to calculate the kinetic energy of 1 through 6 on the next page. If you have questions, ask your teacher in ISS to give me a call. Thanks so much, and be good. Bye.